Welcome back, YouTubers, to my channel of an everyday life of an Aspie. If you're following me right now, I congratulate you to come on here, because obviously you come here for a reason, because obviously right now, as I said, I'm creating a mental health awareness series of basically some everyday topics that we need to address and actually really get out there and actually share our stories along the way these topics that I'm addressing, be it depression, be it suicide, be it bipolar, be it anxiety, be it whatever else that this consists on the mental health frame network of basically what we go through in our lives, because at the end of the day we need to be sure that we can share our stories and hopefully feel we're not going to be judged. And all further ado, also I want to thank for the ones that has been supporting me right now, as well as just giving me maybe some comments along the way about certain things that I need to learn to address slowly, which, you know, me and my talking in general as well. I've humbly apologise for the ones that are still trying to, you know, keep up with me, even though, yeah, I get a bit excited still with all my, you know, knowledge and know-how and experience and whatnot that I want to shed light to, you know. In order for them to do though, however, I was talking in the last few parts, so if you haven't followed me, I'll address to you all right now. As part one is Let's Talk. This is all about mental health, the introductory part of it, the definition of mental health briefly, which hopefully will be brief. Number two was basically I Can't Take It Anymore, which is all about the self-harm, the introductory of it, basically, and the types of self-harm that comes along the way with it. Part three is the misconceptions. Obviously, this is just a list of misconceptions that are maybe common, that we commonly heard about the self-harmers, especially cutters in general, when we hear about it, you know. And then part four is the misconception list, which is obviously a list of misconception lists. And number 5 and 6 obviously was, basically I was addressing was, bear with me, I'm trying to think, why do people self-harm? So I listed a few common grounds of why people may, you know, self-harm. And part 6 obviously is why might people want to see stop self-harming. So without further ado, this is hopefully the last few bits of the episodes or series or parts, whatever we want to call it, of this self-harming that I'm hoping to do. But then again, I've got a couple that I wanted to do, the do's and don'ts and the excuses, which I'm going to hopefully do a bit more, research as they call it, so I can collab it up and put it into this playlist for you all if you need it. So in all further ado, this one is but like the tips and advice, obviously what to do with self-harmers. Basically, you know, this will be broken down into 6 parts of the series of whatever I'm doing, even though I might have to put it as, you know, episodes and then parts, blah blah blah, if I have to. So for the last part of this one, which is obviously what to do to stop self-harmers. Okay, as I've said many times before with you, although self-harm is defined as a person deliberately harming themselves as a way of coping and dealing with their difficult feelings and emotions, as well as their overwhelming situations that they may have faced in their time while this is happening, of the self-harming. Self-harming yourself may make you feel better in short periods of time though, however, to address to you all, but it doesn't, obviously, in the long run, as we know. It will make matters worse if you don't, obviously, you know, do what you have to do, because it can put us in a dangerous situation. Obviously, as we know, basically, it can do more damage than good. As I've said, a little bit of what self-harming can do, of the effects of it to others, of the dire consequences, as well as just, you know, matter of choice when we do this or not, you know, of self-harming, and if we want to, you know, doing it or not. Making new changes. There's no magic solution or magic cure or fix to stop the problem, however. We can't make the magic wand, which is pretty much sad, really, even though many people would want every problem to disappear at the top of the hat, or disappear with that magic wand that we wave around. But what we can do, though, however, making new changes, as I will address to you all, can be hard for every one of us, you know, but it can be easy to have a setback or return back to our own old behaviours of self-harming, or whatever that made us relapse back into that stage of self-harming, depression, suicide, you know, returning back to drugs, alcohol, or whatever it may be. But that's still no excuse. We should be able to push on forward and actually, you know, get the help we need, as I addressed so firmly before. If you do relapse, however, we need to actually, while self-harming though, when we are relapsing, it can return old memories, sort of thing, and we need to know the triggers to what causes it. Obviously, us as well for that self-harming effect, be it cutting, you know, overdosing, kicking ourselves, pulling our hair, or whatever it may be. But bear in mind, if you do relapse, however, don't be too hard on yourself, be kind to yourself, and don't beat yourself up on it. You know, everyone goes through it, and it's just a matter of like reaching out, finding the right support network, and hopefully finding someone who you can trust to talk to you, that have been, you know, there for you, and actually maybe address to them why, you know, it's happening. Okay, this is part 1 of 6, as I said. So this one's going to be taking immediate action. Under this is number 1, find people who you can be around with. This is important, obviously. We need to find places where people are around. Like, for example, it can be as simple as sitting in the living room with your family, having dinner, if you watch TV with your dinner, or being with your friends, basically, and also in a public place, like a pub, or maybe a park, or somewhere that's calm and peaceful for you. Whatever you're doing, wherever you are, be sure to choose to stop what you're doing that leads you to self-harm, though, however. Whatever that trigger that caused you to self-harm, know what that trigger was in the first place, and then make sure that you can find something to distract you, which in this case will be this in the next part here. Number 2, call someone. That's really important. If you're alone in your home or unable to leave your own house, because obviously there's a lot of, you know, items that is around that did cause you to self-harm, of the cutting, be it kitchen knives or whatever it may be, of what form of item. Basically, call someone who you can trust and actually converse with them. See if you can make an appointment to see them, basically, maybe, and just get them to listen to you, or even call some sort of hotline service sort of thing, because there are agencies out there, basically, that can help, be it Youthline, be it suicide kind of hotlines, and all the other ones that can help with all these mental health issues that are being addressed right now to you all. So it's a matter of just finding maybe one of those contact listings. They are usually free to ring and actually listen to what they have to share with you and all that. You can also maybe try to talk to a pet or a photograph, basically a poster or any object that, you know, that can give somewhere you aim to talk to, and that obviously with this in mind, that they won't judge your actions, thoughts or feelings and whatnot. Because obviously, as we know, pets can be a good form of stress relief, and like, you know, form of therapy. Many people may argue with that, but that's fine. But anyway, number 3, get help if there is risk suicide. Signs to look out for with that is, and here is, talking that they want to kill themselves. 2, looking for a way to kill yourself. 3, making statements about being hopeless. 4, talking about having no reason to live. Okay, number 4, draw on your body with a marker pen. This can be a good resource tool, obviously, because if you find your thoughts are continuing to linger, or shall we say drift back to the harming yourself with the, you know, be it with a kitchen knife or some sort of item that you self-harm with, or just self-harming in general, you can always draw on a place, be it if it's on your wrist. Basically, you can doodle on your wrist. Just like I said again, this can be a form of a distraction sort of thing, to the point where, obviously, as we know, the marker pen leaves a mark and it can come off. But whereas if you were self-harming in the way of cutting yourself, obviously, we know basically that this isn't always the case. Number 5. Distracting yourself. As I said before, this is a good one. It's important to know what kind of distractions work best for you when you're in each of the everyday situations that cause you to self-harm, as well as also, like I said, finding out the triggers of why it happened, you know, how it happened and all that, for you to do this rational thought of self-harming in the first place. Because obviously we know there's a level of intensity, however, for our triggers and urges that will be depending on the feeling or situation of everyday things that comes our way for when it comes down to us self-harming. However, there are some list of activities that I might want to address to you, might work for you, it might not, but you can try and take this on board. Maybe dye your hair. Number 2 is make a cup of tea. 3, bake something. 4, count to 5 or 1,000, 500 to 1,000. It may sound ridiculous, but it might work. Practice some breathing techniques. Number 6. Number 7, play a musical instrument. Number 7, do arts and crafts. Number 8, if I'm counting right, watch TV or a movie of some kind. Number 9, play some form of sport with your friends and family. Number 10, I think I'm up to, is take a walk. Number 11, make a dance routine. Whatever it may be, find something that you love and enjoy, maybe, you know, that will distract you from that time. It may work for some, as I said, but it may not for others. Number 6 for this is you can try waiting out that time period where you have been trying to think of self-harming. You know, some people have a time restraint of, you know, they want to self-harm, and like I said before, it's an addiction. Sometimes, you know, once they self-harm, they want to do it again in a short attention span. So in other words, what I'm saying here is delaying self-harm. Once you feel the urge to do it again, you need to be in mind, obviously, you can start a time limit, be it like set yourself for 10-15 minutes, sit it and wait it out. You can do some sort of distraction activity in that time period if you want to, or just sit and wait it out in general and see if that urge does disappear. I know it may sound like you're going to bore yourself to death with this period of time, but it might work, it may not. But hey, if it doesn't work, start the time limit again, same time. So for example, basically, if you did it for 10 minutes or 15 minutes tops, go for that again. You know, when that urge, just keep going back and forth so that if that urge comes back or not. Number 7, give yourself reminders of your own actions. Talk to yourself. Use the I statements. I don't want scars. I am beautiful, smart, funny, loved. I don't deserve to be hurt. Alright, these are the self-reminders that you can do on your actions of self-harming. This can work for other things as well, you know. As I said before, these I statements, if you bring them about, as well as all these other bits and pieces, they will take effect if you believe in it. Number 8, remove self-harming tools. Get someone to dispose the items. Do a symbolic funeral if you have to, like burning or burying those items. Say out loud in front of someone, I don't need you anymore. Obviously, this was the end of part 1 of the 6th series of basically what to do for to stop self-harming. Give me the like for the thumbs up of support, as well as just the like in general. Subscribe if you haven't done so already, for hopefully 2 days a week or more for my schedule to do these series and more. Basically, also feel free to share these videos to family and friends. You know, comment below obviously with your stories, or even just comment as general. Obviously for feedback, follow me on Twitter, AspieAnswersAll, as well as what do you call it, Facebook sort of thing, if you want to private message me on there instead of private messaging me on here on the YouTube channel. Even though I do make sure to check my emails regularly on a day-to-day basis for the ones that may want to, you know, private message me on AspieAnswersAll on Facebook. So in all further ado, guys, be kind, love one another, you know, be true to yourself and all that, and I'll see you all again soon. Thanks for watching.